I used to be the strong one, the one who never complained, who always said, "I'm fine," even when I wasn't. Every morning, I would wake up exhausted, stare at myself in the mirror, and force a smile. I'd apply a little makeup, not just to hide my tired eyes, but to convince myself that I could make it through another day. People at work would say, "You're always so positive," and I'd nod. My family leaned on me, friends vented to me, and I never said no. I never said I needed help, because I thought asking for help made me weak. I had built my whole life around being the dependable one. And the truth is, I was falling apart. The headaches started first, then the chest tightness. My sleep got worse, my appetite disappeared. But I kept going. I pushed through because I thought stopping meant I was failing. I believed that if I just kept moving, I could outrun the heaviness. I smiled through panic attacks. I answered emails while crying in the bathroom. I made dinner while my hands trembled from exhaustion. I had become a master at hiding pain. I lied so well that even I began to believe it. That is, until the day my body decided it had enough. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I had a big presentation at work. I skipped breakfast, like always. I barely slept the night before, like always. I was walking to the train station when my vision blurred. I slowed down, thinking it would pass. Then, out of nowhere, my knees buckled. I hit the ground hard. My bag spilled across the sidewalk, and for a second, I just lay there, unable to move, unable to speak. People stared. A few walked around me. One person stopped and asked if I was okay, but I couldn't even answer. I wasn't okay. I hadn't been okay for a long time. I woke up in the hospital with a doctor telling me I was severely dehydrated and suffering from exhaustion. But that's not what broke me. What broke me was hearing him say, "This didn't happen overnight. Your body has been trying to get your attention for a while." That's when I realized my collapse wasn't a freak incident. It was a consequence. A consequence of constantly putting everyone else first, of hiding my struggles, of convincing myself that I didn't deserve care unless I was strong. Lying in that hospital bed, I realized something terrifying. I had no idea who I was without the exhaustion. For so long, I had measured my worth by how much I could endure. If I wasn't helping someone, fixing something, proving my strength, then who was I? The silence in that room was louder than any conversation I'd had in years. No phone buzzing, no voices asking for something, no one expecting me to perform. And yet, I felt more pressure than ever, because for the first time, I was facing myself. The doctor said I needed rest, not a few days off, real rest. Emotional, mental, physical. But how do you rest when your entire identity is built on motion? I looked at my phone and saw messages piling up. "Hope you're okay. Let me know if you need anything." Sweet words, but I didn't even know what I needed. I didn't know how to respond. So I just stared at the screen, and then I turned it off. In those first few days, I did nothing. Not in a peaceful, meditative way, but in a raw, uncomfortable, itchy kind of stillness. I didn't know how to just exist. I cried for hours without a clear reason. I slept during the day. I stopped wearing makeup. I stopped pretending. For the first time, I let the people around me see the version of me I had always hidden, the tired, scared, vulnerable one. And you know what? The world didn't end. Some people drifted away, others stayed. And slowly, I started to breathe again. Recovery wasn't a straight line. Some days I felt like I was getting stronger. Others, I wanted to go back to my old patterns just to feel in control again. But I resisted. I started walking every morning, not far, just enough to remind myself that I was alive. I made food with my own hands instead of ordering takeout. I picked up a journal and really wrote, about my fears, my childhood, my loneliness, my guilt. At first, the pages felt like strangers. But over time, they became mirrors. I began to say, no, more often, not with guilt, but with clarity. I canceled plans when I was tired. I stopped answering every message immediately. I stopped apologizing for not being available. And guess what? The people who truly cared understood. They didn't walk away when I set boundaries. In fact, some of them respected me more. For the first time in my life, I wasn't being praised for how much I could carry. I was being seen for who I actually was. That alone was worth everything. Today, I still get tired. I still have moments when I want to fall back into my old habits, smiling to avoid questions, saying yes to avoid conflict, pretending I'm okay because it's easier than explaining why I'm not. But now, I catch myself. I pause. I ask, am I doing this for me or for them? And that single question has changed my life. I've learned that being strong doesn't mean being silent. It doesn't mean carrying the weight of the world without flinching. Real strength is crying when you need to, saying, I can't do this right now, without shame. Letting someone see the messy, raw, honest parts of you, and not apologizing for it. The kind of strength that saves your life isn't loud. It's quiet, gentle, firm. It's found in choosing yourself every day, especially when the world taught you not to. The people who once expected me to be available 24/7, they've adapted, or they've left. And I've stopped chasing their approval. I no longer beg to be understood. I speak, and if they don't hear me, I walk away. I no longer over-explain my feelings to people committed to misunderstanding me. That alone has been freedom. Now, when I feel overwhelmed, I stop. I rest. I let the dishes wait. I let the phone ring. I let the world spin without me. Because I finally believe that I don't have to earn my rest. I don't have to break to be worthy of healing. My value is not in how much I produce, how much I endure, or how many fires I can put out in a day. My value is in my presence, in my softness, in my decision to live fully, even if that means slowing down. And if you're watching this, still pretending, still smiling through pain, still holding it all in, I want you to hear me clearly. You don't have to wait until your body collapses. You don't have to crash to be seen. You don't have to reach the edge before you ask for help. You deserve care now. You deserve softness now. You deserve rest now. This isn't the story of someone who conquered burnout and became unstoppable. This is the story of someone who finally stopped, who finally looked in the mirror and said, I don't want to live like this anymore. And then started building a life that didn't require breaking to feel alive. So take the mask off, even if it's scary, even if it shakes everything around you. The ones who truly love you will stay. The ones who don't were never really there. And you'll still be standing, stronger than ever, not because you're pretending, but because you're finally free.